Welcome. We're so glad that you came. We're very, very excited about what we get to do today. One of Union's core values is to celebrate success, and to be able to dedicate a new facility that's already paid for is a really big success. I just left a board meeting, and for some of you who don't know, my last board meeting in Union College was because my wife and I will go on to other pastures. One of the things I said, presidents have to be somewhat apolitical, and so I've been very careful for 7 years to be apolitical. But I will confess to you this morning that I am a Democrat. I'm a diehard Southern Democrat, and when I moved back to the South of Ohio, I thought I was going to go back to the Democratic territory and discovered that I didn't. And now that I'm going to be moving to Wisconsin, I found out that Ripon, where I'm going, is the birthplace of the Republican Party. So the good Lord has a definite good sense of humor. But I will say to you, my first and last political statement at Union College is, when it comes to voting for somebody in Congress, please vote Republican. I want to publicly thank Congressman Hal Rogers and what he has done to make this facility possible at Union College. This is a classic example of what partnership can be between college and community, and it would not be possible without the Congressman's support and encouragement. What he's doing for this community, what he has done for this college is phenomenal. So I would be remiss if I didn't begin this program by saying that. I do want to, since I've welcomed, and we have people from all over, we're so glad you came. I'm so excited to see this place packed and full. I do want to point out some of the folks that are guests that are up here, and I welcome them publicly. Bob Mitchell, who's representing the Congressman today, he's a district administrator for Congressman Hal Rogers. Bob, we appreciate your coming. You'll have some words to say. We're dedicating this in the memory of Ed Black, and I'll say 1 or 2 words about him, and somebody else will say even more, but I do want to recognize and thank the members of his family for coming. We have Frances Black Williams. Frances is special. I performed. I can't say I married her because Kim did, but I did perform their wedding a while back, and I'm very excited about that. Ken Williams, who's over there taking care of the first grandchild, and Alexandria Williams. Say a few words out, Ken. She's busy, but I'm sure we'll hear from her. Phil Black. Phil, thank you for coming. And son and Peg Black. Peg, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. And all these folks had to come a long way, as far away as Florida, California, and another state that borders called Indiana. Judge Raceman, he's not here yet, but he might be coming. You know, these county judges, they're always 2 minutes late. They're on county time. But the town mayor is here. And I want to welcome our mayor, Pat Hauser, who's also on our board and a very strong supporter of this college. I want to point out, we're very, see, I knew I was going to be asked. I do want to introduce some folks that are very important to the success of this facility because it came in, believe it or not, on time and under budget, which never happens in construction. And I've learned it never happens in Eastern Kentucky when you're doing construction, especially on time part. But it did this year. And Bob Green and Bo Green, they built this place, and we were so proud and so pleased that they did. And I think that's free advertising, guys, on time and under budget. Our architects who designed this facility are here, and they've done a lot of work. The Academic Center, for which we're extremely proud of, they did that work in other pieces on campus, and this is their latest piece. And we're very pleased to have representatives from EOP here, Bobby Durham and Richard Pope. I saw you. Oh, there you go. You guys are over here. Thank you so much. I know you must be very proud of the work that you've done. We have some other special guests, and I'm sure they can tell some stories before the day's over, and hopefully we'll hear them. And that's from Ed Black's college roommates, Louise and Wynn. You boys here? Wynn, where are you? Back there. So I'm sure you have some Ed Black stories you'll share with us at some point. And Steve Baker, of course. Steve's standing right next to him. So we're glad that you guys made the trip down and be a part of this special event. And of course, last and certainly not least, we're very proud of our own student leadership, and DJ Washington is our president of our student community governance system, and a graduating senior, and you'll have some words too, so DJ, we're glad that you can be a part of this. Lastly, I would like to say a few words on some people are going to say a few words too. Ed Black was a very, very close personal friend when I came to campus and wasted no time in '96 when I came to campus to tell me the lay of the land. And we set about planning how we were going to change the lay of the land. I'll never forget that first session. In fact, it was actually shortly after I was a candidate. And I was talking to Ed, and I said, Ed, where's the website for Union College? He said, we don't have one. I said, well, what's your email address? I don't have it. And we went through the series. We had an old, antiquated mainframe computer system. I asked them about the administrative software package, because presidential candidates want to know how they're going to integrate data and stuff. We don't have one of those either. We went through all the list of what we didn't have in technology. And I said, well, I can see what one of the first priorities will be to bring technology to campus. And Ed kind of coined the term that we need to be cutting edge, not bleeding edge. And we started at that level. And I can tell you today, what you're seeing is the culmination of a lot of work, a lot of vision. And well, one of the first things I did when I became president is I appointed Ed Vice President for Planning and Technology, because we wanted to have it. And guess what? We have one of the nicest, best websites of any college campus our size. We have email. You can't even get a paper memorandum anymore. We have email to the point that we're tired of email. Like I said, we have a great website. We have a brand new administrative software integrated package. Every faculty and professional staff member has a modern computer on their desk. Every student that lives on campus has a portal to plug their computer in right into the mainframe or to our servers, as well as TV and phones. We like to spoil our students every day. So we've come a long way in 7 years, folks, and it's largely due to the hard work, diligence of Ed Black. The only thing that I can say disparaging about Ed, and other people are going to talk about it, is he was working crazy hours. I get emails from him at 4 a.m., et cetera, et cetera. And we had a lot going on. We're trying to get a lot of things going, written a lot of grants to get a lot of technology. We're pushing the limit. And I said, Ed, if you die on me, I will hunt you down and kill you. And I was joking, folks. I was joking. And his untimely death last year really did take us all aback. And it really did push us back years that we're still recovering from. But he set the agenda, he set the tone. And there's no better way to honor his memory and to honor his family support by naming this facility in his memory. With that, I would like to introduce Carl Pecko, Vice Chairman of the Health Board.
Thank you, Dr. Joyce. David, as I usually call you. I am here in the role as Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees, so I would like to add my welcome from that perspective. We've been working the last day and a half trying to take care of the business of the school. Dr. Joyce mentioned that he'll be moving on to a new assignment, and I just want to take a minute to assure everyone that there is a process in place to assure a smooth succession. We do have a committee that's being formed to look at interim president and, of course, the selection of a permanent president. So, as they say in country with royalty, the king is dead, long live the king. So we're seeing into that process. I do want to thank you all for showing up and showing your support for the university, and remind you that this is certainly a facility for those who come and seek employment and education here, but also for the community. And we want people in the community to look at it in that way. It has been fun over these last number of years to have events like this, and we hope from the Board of Trustees perspective that we can continue to have events that celebrate the commissioning of new or recommissioning of older facilities. And it's gotten to be a pretty regular habit. We've had, how many now? 4 or 5 now? And believe me, it is the intent of the Board of Trustees not to lose momentum and keep going in this direction. Remind you that we do appreciate your involvement, your interest, your support. It makes a big difference. And with Dr. Joyce's leadership and style, I think it's clear that the community and all of those interests that are represented in this room are certainly an integral part of the success of the campus and the educational process that goes on here. I don't want to carry on very long because we do have a number of people, some probably more interesting than myself, with some stories about Ed Black and some other things that have happened here. With that, I will turn it over to Bob Mitchell, who already been introduced, and add my appreciation for his boss and his continued support for the facility and for this campus in general. He's been a wonderful supporter, and we really thank you. Bob?
be at home. I don't get a lot of opportunities to work in Knox County. I travel all over the country, and I was speaking to Corbin the other day, and they introduced me, and most places I go, they give me a big build up. This is all me working down a lot, working on our projects, this and that. But in Corbin, they introduced me as Thanks Mitchell's husband. But it is good to be in Knox County and Marshville. I live in Knox County, lived here virtually all my life. I served on the fiscal court here several years ago, and I've seen Marshville come a long way with the event of the flood wall and with the cooperative working spirit that we've had, the city and county government and Union College being the shining star of all of that. It's led the way with the vision, and we've been an integral part of the growth that we've seen in this area. Congressman would love to be here today. He's been to Union College. I couldn't tell you how many times. I was trying to count it up coming up here, Dr. Joyce. I could not count the times that Al Rogers has been on this campus. I don't know of any school that he's been to more than Union. You honored him with giving him a doctorate several years ago, and Union College has a special place in his heart. And I think y'all know that because you keep asking for money. Before I say any more, Congressman is on the West Coast. As you know, he's now chairman of the Homeland Security Appropriations Committee, and there's a conference out there on Homeland Security. So he had been there. He would have loved to have been here and one more visit to Union to list if he could have been here. But we enjoy working with Union because if you give Union College a project, you give them the dollars. They've got the vision, then you don't have a lot of bumps along the way. They just take the project and go with it. And so it's not always the case when we get county, cities, or institutional money that come a lot of obstacles along the way. And some people knows how to jump through those hoops and some don't. But we folks have been great to work with. They just call back and give them money and say, let's go to business. That's what we like to do business. Dr. Joyce, I would just say that it's been a tremendous pleasure to work with you and to share the vision that you've had for Union College and for this entire region. You are a region leader. We will sort of miss you. We wish you well. Next venture, Wisconsin's games, Sarah Thomas. We know you'll do well. You know anything about Al Rogers, you know that you want to get his attention. You can talk to him about infrastructure problems. Yeah, he will talk to you about that. But if you really want to get his attention, you need to talk to him about creating a job. And if you can get his imagination on that, then you can go at no ends to do whatever it takes. You can work long, you can work hard. But he realized a few years ago, several years ago, that if we were going to compete in our part of the country, no longer compete and say, we've got a great industrial park, water, sewer, everybody's got those things. So we had to have a trainable workforce. So about 10 years ago, he said, we're going to have to start creating technology infrastructure, if you will, so that we can have a trainable workforce, so that we can recruit the workers we've got, not by the buildings we've got. We don't got the best terrain, we don't have the best terrain, we don't have the best highways, we don't have a lot of things that other cities have to offer. So he thought if we could create a trainable workforce and then technology that was coming down the pike, we'd be ahead of the curve. So we have been working on that for some time. We've created a Center for Rural Development. You're a part of the Center for Rural Development. We've got a center next sign here on the college that allows you to have two-way telecommunication all around the world around that partnership. And we have some good businesses here down in our area that expects, and they will tell you they have to have a trained workforce in this changing world that we live in. We got businesses today. I know Ron Woody out in the NCS Pearson down in the corporate in Knox County are several hundred people and we've got data tracking, that's the INS operation, multi-tech operations in the country. Some of the best workers. They will all tell you that they have some of the best workers here in this part of the country than they have in different locations around the country, getting deeper into the world. So you're doing what you need to do. creating a climate here where there be people. And this partnership that you have with the city of Barberville, mayor, and I want to commend all you Randall City Utilities. I think you're known as the best part of a small city in the USA. That's a pretty daggone good compliment, and I'm proud to say, when I go places, that I'm Barberville, that water that place. And I know Union College is part of that. One other little thing we've talked to Joyce and some of the community leaders here, what we think is another great idea, what the Congressman thinks is a great idea. They went to Washington, they sat down and chatted with the Congressman. All these things we need now we need to start looking at the quality of life for our people. Hence, decided over 12 December, I think today, Joyce, Congressman, has been able to earmark about $1.3 million. It's going to take several more $1 million. But I look forward to the day that we will come back on the campus and have to look on that wellness center and create an even better way of life for Barberville and the citizens of this region. So, on behalf of the Congressman, I wish he could be here. He would love to have been here. But I wish him Godspeed, and we look forward to more good to Barberville and Union College. Thank you very much.
Somebody said that the mic was not on. Is it on now?
Still on.
I'm Leonard Shetler. I was asked to present a few presentations and reminisce a little bit about Dr. Ed Black, or Ed Black as I knew him. In 1961, I drove into Barberville, Kentucky in a 56 Chevrolet as a freshman at this college. We weren't permitted to have an automobile at that time, so you had to park on College Street. And I walk up to Speed Hall and I said, well, I'm talking to a boy, he's got to put himself through school, and I need a job. They promptly put me into the work-study program here at Union College at a high rate pay, $1.50 an hour. Really gonna pay my way through. But anyhow, I ended up working in the dining hall under the direction of Ed Black. He was the dining hall manager. I'll never forget that. Been there approximately 1 year prior to that. And things were going along great. I was one of the waiters, and we had the sit-down meals every evening. It was part of this formal meal deal to try to train us kids how to eat properly. But we were waiters, and under the direction of Ed Black, he tried to train us well, and he made all the announcements and everything. Things were going along fine, except for the food service. It was one of those cases where food service was somewhat mediocre, except for, I'll never forget the homemade cheesecake. I don't even know who the local chef, if you will call her that. I do know that was the only thing that the college students would eat. And we decided to boycott this dining hall. And he comes up to me and he says, now Lenny, he says, you can't do this. He said, you're part of the staff. He said, if you do this, you're going to be fired. So I was fired by Ed Black. And I told him, I said, well, you can fire me if you want, but I really, I'm going to quit anyhow. As far as my career, I walked across the street, talked to a gentleman by the name of Bob Potter, that many of you may recall, and continued my career in the maintenance department. About 10 years plus ago, I had a call from Ed, and he said, Lenny, he said, we haven't talked to each other for a long time, and that was, of course, I graduated here, by the way. I picked up something very important along the way, back there, next to the last row. But my wife Sandy and I knew Ed through our 4 years of college here, and then we went home to promote our careers and take our education with us and develop from there. And as I said, about 10 years ago, Ed gave me a call. I'm in the equipment business, and he said, I need some help. And I came down to campus, and I knew that times on this campus had been a huge swing up and a huge swing down. And I felt that, what could I do to help you? And he asked for some evaluation needs and the equipment end of it, et cetera, and the discussion went on, and I think the real reason for getting me down here was he was looking for more donations on that equipment side. Because he asked me to consider becoming a trustee at Union College. And I thought to myself, gee whiz, here's this lawnmower jock that you're wanting to put into a position like this. And I accepted that position with the honor that, and I'm really proud to be here, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. Ed was an institution to this campus. He believed in this campus. He believed in Union College, its mission. He stood beside this institution and this college of higher learning in the thick and the thin. And I never ever heard Ed say anything derogatory towards this campus. A lot of respect for Ed and the things that he did and how he did them. And he really kept this whole campus together throughout his entire life here. He never left this place. You know, he was from New Jersey, you may have known. He came here for 4-year education, got a job right after that here, and never left. And he's just a real inspiration to me and everything that he has done for this college. With that, I guess I'll turn the podium over to Tara Cooper, right? Who's going to add a few more words.
I was asked today to talk a little bit about the building and what you can expect to go on in here. But first, I just want to say that everybody's talking about it and how much he meant to them and to Union College, and I'm another one that I wouldn't be standing up here today if it wasn't for Ed. He gave me the opportunity to make a mark and to learn something beyond the library, the technology of the campus, and I will always be grateful for that opportunity. It's really fitting that we named this building after Ed for several reasons. One is that he was certainly instrumental in advancing technology at Union. He was also working very hard to find ways to raise money and support the things we were doing. But one of the other things he was always talking about was how could we work more and improve our relationship with the community. And that's part of what this building is all about. It's certainly here to benefit Union College and our students and the things that we need to do here on campus, but it is here to serve the entire community of Barberville and Knox County. And that's particularly true of the first floor. You're sitting here today in what we call the training rooms, and they will eventually, we hope, have laptop computers that will be available in here. We'll have a projector. We're still working on getting all the equipment to go in the building. But so far, numerous groups in the community have used these rooms for dinners. They've used them for training sessions. They've used them for meetings. And everybody has been very pleased with the atmosphere and what they're able to do in these rooms. I myself have attended 3 days of training on our new library system. That I sat in those chairs, and those chairs are very comfortable, even if you're in them 8 hours a day. So it's working out great that way. The building allows for teamwork. It allows, one of the things, last night this room was set up for dinner. The trustees know that, they were in here. And very quickly this morning they were able to come in and rearrange it. We've had groups come in and use it set up like this. We've had groups come in and put 2 or 4 tables together and have teamwork groups going on. So it's very versatile. One of the other things that Ed really worked on was trying to advance the different services that we could offer to the community. On the other end of the building on the first floor is what, it's the studio, but it's starting to be referred to as the black room, and that doesn't have to do with Ed's name. It has to do with the color of the room. And it's all painted black. You might want to look in there when you go on a tour after this. But one of the things that it will do, it will allow a space for video production and for audio production. A group can come in and record a CD or produce a video, and we'll be able to help them with that. It will also house the equipment that we need to provide the on-campus and off-campus cable channels that we'll be implementing. So that's one of the things we've been trying to do for several years, but never really were able to do it, didn't have the space for it, and it's going to allow that to happen. On this floor is also the repair center. Now that certainly serves the campus, but it is a very important part of the campus in serving 350 to 400 computers that are owned by the campus. And the people that work in that office spend a lot of time out in people's offices fixing their computers, installing new ones, helping them with the problems or implementing new technology to do that. On the second floor of the building is mainly offices and our server room. We have our administrative systems team is located there, and they support the database that runs the campus and all the offices that use that. Our network manager is there with the server room, and also our webmaster. And that is a position that was funded originally by the grant that built this building. We're very pleased to be able to have that full-time position. And as was mentioned earlier, our website has changed. It's really improved, and we're very proud with what Brandon is doing with the website. And in addition to that, he is helping groups like NoxCo or Knox Partners and setting up websites for them and working with community nonprofit groups to get their presence out there on the web, which hopefully will enhance the lifestyle here in Barberville and Knox County, but also help bring in industry. The fact that this building is connected to the library is very important. The Learning and Information Services area of Union College has always been dedicated to serving the community. It started out just as the library, and as we added technology, that continues. The library has provided government documents collection, a very liberal circulation policy. The first thing we did was bring in the Centernet program, which once again was funded through the help of Hal Rogers. And we have a Centernet site in the Sharp building, and we hope to bring that into this room over the summer. And the Centernet site is a distance learning and telecommunications site. It also provides internet access for the public, which we do through the library. So that is an important role that Union College is using in the community that can be used for. We're doing some distance learning classes in our graduate program. We've had lawyers come in and take depositions from people in Colorado and not had to travel out there by using this equipment. So it's being used, and we're trying to promote that even more. The other aspect of the building isn't really located in the building. It's over in the library. And the connecting, when you go on your tour, you'll be able to go through the connector and go through the library. And downstairs in the lobby is what we call the media center. And if you'll notice, today when you're doing your tour, there is a video showing in the studio, and that was produced on the equipment that we have purchased. And that room will be available to our students and to our faculty, our staff, and the community to produce videos, to copy CDs. You'll be able to use a regular video camera or a digital video camera and bring that in and turn it into digital and edit that and put music to it. And we had some older equipment that could do this, but this is really updating and changing the way we're able to do that. So I guess in conclusion, I just want to say that as the president indicated earlier, Union has come a long way in 6 or 7 years. And when we first started all this, we did a survey, and only 23% of our faculty had computers on their desks. Most of those were personally owned. And since then, we've come to where almost every building on campus is wired. The students all have access in their rooms. All the faculty and staff have computers and access to the network, access to the web. And we keep striving to meet the needs in the classroom, to provide the technology that the faculty needs and the students demand for learning. And we will continue to work as hard as we can to do that. And at the same time, bring the community in and involve them in what we're doing and try to support the training needs of the community and the college. And I thank you for coming today. And at this point, I would like to ask Francis and Phil to come up.
I first wanted to say that our family feels that it is an honor that you have chosen to name the Technology Center after my father. I thought that I would take some time and share with you a couple of stories and explain why this building means so much to us. When I first transferred to Union College in January of 1997, they were working on the mission and vision of the college. During this process, I had never seen my dad more excited about his position. He was so excited to be a part of the team of people who created a master plan to help develop this campus. When I first saw those plans, it seemed to be impossible. The college had to raise a significant amount of money to jumpstart this project. I remember when the apartments were being built. I would meet him at his office or his closet upstairs in the student center, and he would say, "Do you have a minute?" We would walk over to the apartments, and you could just see the excitement in his expressions and in his actions. We would talk about what was on my mind and follow up with what was on his. Those of you who knew him, I bet you would know which room he liked the best. He stood on the second floor and pointed to the pond and said if I had my choice, this is the one that I would choose. I wanted to share with you the last time that I saw my father. We were eating lunch at the Vintage House. He asked me if I had a minute to walk over to the campus and go through the Sharp Center. He was so excited about this building. He was going to have a brand new office, but what he really liked is that he could connect to the internet outside. I wonder why he liked being outside. We covered every square foot of this building, even the bathrooms. He would rub his hands as fast as he could and give that grin that you all know so well. He asked me what I thought. He always wanted to know what was on the other person's mind. Obviously, I was very excited about it. My last experience with my father was here on campus. This just shows how much he cared for Union College. When the family was approached by the college to name the Technology Center after him, we were very honored. He loved being a part of the campus and loved to see the campus develop. We again would like to thank you for letting his memory live on here at Union College. Thank you.
Will you please join with me in our prayer of dedication? Let us pray. Loving God, we thank you for Ed Black. Thank you for the life that he lived and how that life and love for this place and for so many people here continues to pay its dividends, grow and develop even now. God, we thank you for so many folks who've been instrumental in providing not only this building, but providing this learning community of Union College. To be a place for people to come and gather for learning and growth, not just in information, but personally, emotionally, spiritually, to better grow into the people that you've created us to be. God, we thank you for all who are gathered here, all the people who are sending their love and their well wishes from far away and couldn't be with us. And may the use of this technology, the use of this place, continue to be a loving tribute to Ed, continue to be dedicated to you and to the service of all of your people, especially those here in Southeast Kentucky. Amen. Now I'd like to invite all the persons who are armed with scissors to walk up for a ribbon cutting. After a ribbon cutting is completed, you're all invited to tour this building, go across to the library to the first floor to the media center that Tara has mentioned, to see it. Stay as long as you'd like. Employees here in this center and in the library will be around to answer your questions. And very importantly as well, there are refreshments located not just outside the door, but upstairs in the building and over by the media center and the library also. So let us join together for this vision. Everybody get your scissors ready. 3 single cut. 1, 2, 3. Once again, thank you all for coming. You're welcome to the building and enjoy it. Get the refreshments as long as you like and one another.